Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of the Plus in Pageantry on the BGE Cloud. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so happy that you decided to give me a little bit of your time to recap my experience at the International Ms. Pageant. So I'm so very excited. I'm going to try to give you this as linearly, if that's a word, as possible, as I'm, telling you about my full experience. So um, I signed on for the International Ms. Pageant shortly after I came home from USOA, which is another pageant system where if I haven't done a video on that, I can do that later. But I still had the bug. I was still really wanting to compete. I was still needing to be preparing for something. So I signed up for International Ms. I believe that good things happen in threes. And this pageant came into my life three times. So I was I was kind of drawn to it and really excited to get a different type of experience under my belt. One thing that stood out to me about the system while I was doing my research was that the system was geared toward women who own their own businesses or charities, 501(c)s, um, which I thought was really cool, especially since I'm stepping into that entrepreneurial space by creating content for you all and starting my production company, and also looking to grow that production company into one of the largest size inclusive um, formal wear stores on the West Coast. So, in those business ventures, while I'm working to get those off the ground, I thought what better way than to put myself around women who were already doing that, who were already running their own businesses, law firms, clinics, whatever the case may be. So, that's part of what drew me to the system. Of course, in my research, I watched a couple of the pageants prior, and then I went forward and I signed up and was very excited to just connect with the leadership of this organization and start doing the work, or better yet, continue doing the work under a new title. So that was really fun for me. Another thing that kind of drew me to the system is I saw that they awarded three uh, titles. So you have International Ms., which is your namesake, front facing face of the organization. That's your highest score. And then you have Ms. and Mrs. USA, which, again, what a great opportunity to have, all of these women showcased, all of these women recognized, and then rewarded with three big titles. So I thought that was really cool and gave, another person an opportunity, or another person's opportunities to be recognized. So that's why I signed up initially. From the jump, oh, excuse me, honey. From the jump, I had a really great experience. The organization was very prevalent. I liked the way the paperwork was presented to me. Everything was easy and accessible. I was able to make my payments. You know, everything was streamlined, and I always appreciate that when going to a new pageant system. Fast forward to travel day. So me and my mom and my boyfriend all kind of taxied all the way to Florida. I didn't have any issues with the flight itself. When we got to Florida, there had just been a thunderstorm because it's Florida. Orlando in particular had threats of being affected by the hurricane that was coming through. So we had a thunderstorm while we were still in the air. So we had to hold in the air for about 30, 45 minutes, which I was like, I don't know about this extreme weather, guys. But we got through that. We were able to land just fine, made it to the hotel just fine. And then I had to immediately start getting ready because we had a meet and greet on Thursday. So basically, we all got to finally meet each other, all the contestants, all of the staff. We finally got to meet each other. We were met with one of the sponsors and vendors for the pageant, which was Go Bling Yourself, which is a jewelry company from, she's a former contestant of the organization and has now started a business and it's thriving. I bought 2 pairs of earrings myself, so do check out Go Bling Yourself when you have the opportunity. But yeah, so that was kind of the first thing we were introduced to, and it was great. Just kind of a quick rundown of the weekend, a time for us to kind of mix and mingle and get to know each other a little bit before the festivities start. The next day, we had our Disney day, which was amazing. Prior to arriving at the pageant, you got to choose which park you would like to go to. And I'm not a rides girly. I'm not getting on rides. So my family and I chose to go to Epcot, which again, amazing experience. I had so much fun. I've been to Disney property before, but I've never been to a Disney park. So I know at my big age, 30 years old. But anywho, so I got to go to Epcot, which was beautiful. They had this huge food and wine festival going on. And we got to just kind of explore all of these different countries and all these different themes, which I thought was super beautiful. Uh, I again, I'm not a rides girly, but I did two. I did, oh my gosh, I can't think of what they're called. There's one where it's like a flight simulator and you can opt in or out of having it like go upside down and twist and all that stuff. And or you can do it to where it just kind of shakes. I definitely got in the one that just shakes because I was not trying to embarrass myself out there going upside down and then you guys having to hear me scream at the top of my lungs. But that was really fun. My mom and I ended up in the simulator together, and that was fun. She tried to act like I wasn't a good pilot because, you know, they made me the pilot. But, you know, I be piloting, so it was fine. So we got into that one pretty early on into our adventure there. So, and it wasn't just my family. We decided to stay in a group for the pageant. And so all of the contestants and their guests, we kind of went through the park together, which was, again, nice. I have 2 purchases. I thought I would buy so much more stuff while I was there, but I showed a little restraint. So I have 2 purchases that I'll share with you at the end that are just my favorite purchases. And it's funny that they're my favorite because they're actually similar. So we'll get to that when we get there. So we did that. We went through the park. We made a funny video for TikTok. And then what else did we do? Oh my goodness. Am I forgetting already? You know, you turn 30 and your mind is the first thing to go. Okay. I'm actually about to be 31, but let's not talk about that. So we went throughout the park. We ate, we laughed, we cried, we giggled. We got to see performers. We met Alice in Wonderland. We also made it to the end of the park and we went into that big display where it kind of just flies you around the world. I almost chickened out. I'm not going to lie to you guys. One thing about me, I'm always going to tell you the truth. Okay? I almost weaned out on that one because I didn't know how high it was going to take us, and your girl might be afraid of heights. That might be a rumor that's true. So there's that. And we also had the gala for Still She Rose, which is the pageant's initiative to support mental health needs through pageant contestants and, you know, other means. So all of our People's Choice voting, all of the money for that went towards Still She Rose, which if you are looking for resources for mental health and guidance and training even on how to deal with mental health issues or issues is such a nasty word, but mental health concerns, I would definitely look into Still She Rose. I think it's a beautiful organization, started and managed for all of the right reasons. So do look into that. So we had that. And we had a gala to celebrate Still She Rose and the works that they've done. and the fundraiser that we were participating in through People's Choice. And with that, we celebrated with a national costume contest. So each delegate was able to create a costume that was representative of their state, region, or nation, and they got to. I promise I can talk, guys. I'm just, I'm recording this after the pageant. Bear with me. So they got to create a costume that's representative of their state, region, or nation, and they got to perform on stage during the Still She Rose Gala. I designed my costume to look like a rose. Not only is the rose my favorite flower, it is also our nation's flower. Along with it being our nation's flower, it is also the theme of the gala itself, Still She Rose. And so I just thought it would be really fun to kind of put that on display. I'm always wearing a rose around my neck. This is kind of like my empowerment totem. There's a story behind it. I'm not going to go there now because it's kind of, it'll change the mood of the video, but this is one of the first things I bought for myself after a trying relationship situation. So I always wear it just as a reminder that I am enough, I am worthy, I am, the rose. I can pop up through the concrete and I can get through anything and everything. So this is something that I'll always wear. You'll always see me with it. And that's that. But I decided to dress as a rose. I thought it was poppy. I thought it was fun. I actually upcycled an old evening gown that I had that wasn't in use. So I was able to make alterations to that, add handmade flowers. I bought individual rose petals and I put those flowers together myself. And I was going to sew them on the dress, but I started running out of time. So I ended up doing every pageant girl or performer's best friend, using that E6000 and tacking those roses onto my dress. And it was beautiful. I loved it. I had a big headdress that had roses across the headband and like gold rays coming off of that. Curly hair, of course. And I got to work the runway. It was great. After that, we had dinner that was included with the gala. And after that, we got to hit the dance floor, which, I'm not really going to shy away from the opportunity to cut a rug. So again, had the best possible time. My family got up on the dance floor and we basically danced until they turned the lights on. So that was us. The next morning we had our interview, which, ooh, am I lying? I feel like I'm lying. I'm getting something out of order, but we also had a photo shoot where we did headshots and everything like that. I think that was before the gala. So we did a photo shoot, which I'm excited to get those photos back. I will be posting them on my personal Instagram, which would be at AmberBruce_. And that's Bruce like Batman, BRUCE. So I will be posting that for you guys to see. Another thing that we did, so yeah, we did the headshots, we did the Still She Rose Gala, and then the next day there was interviews. Mind you, there were many naps taken between events by me. If I have the opportunity to take a nap, I'm gonna do it. Every single time, I'm gonna do it. So we had our interviews, which was super fun for me. I love interview. I was very much so myself. I always feel confident in interview if I can, make the judges laugh. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I can't tell you. But I had a great time. So we went into interview. We had our rehearsal, which again was fun. And I feel like I'm getting my days out of order, but that's totally fine. Where we got to our rehearsal, we got to go over the walking pattern and just learn kind of the choreography for the entire weekend. And me, myself, anything that has to do with how the show itself will run is of interest to me because I work in production. So just seeing if there's anything that I can, get inspiration for when I'm doing my next show is always fun. And then just seeing how different organizations like for their shows to run. always a good time. And usually these things will kind of vary from state to state. So I always love just seeing how other teams run their show, produce their show. So always a good time for me. Uh, there were, I think, 3 different walking patterns, which is always fun. We had a beautiful runway. I think the ballroom that were in was the perfect size for what we were doing. I didn't feel cramped, and I don't think any guests felt cramped. But I was on the stage. You know, you got to ask folks in the audience how they felt about being in the audience. Okay. Uh, so that was really fun. Just doing that, you know, talking with my girls in line. Shout out to Group 3. You know who you are. Uh, but, you know, I also like that time that we get to spend together. Another thing that I really appreciated about this experience is we had plenty of family time, plenty of family time, plenty of time to mingle with each other and still be able to get ready and perform, in my opinion, from my experience. I chose to spend more time with my family than I did with the girls. But that was more, you know, my family had come all that way. I didn't want to just kind of put them on the back burner. So I love you guys still. You guys are the best. So yeah, so rehearsals done, interviews done, Still She Rose Gala is done. Now we're getting ready for the big day. So pageants here, nerves are all over the place. I have 2 gowns with me, one that is an easy fit and one that, you know, takes a little bit of effort. And of course, I wanted to wear the one that took all the effort to get into. So prior to going downstairs, we tried it on, and I was totally prepared to have. I sewed a back panel into the dress just in case it didn't zip all the way. And sure enough, we got there, and you know, right before the pageant, I tried the dress on, and it zipped. So I was like, "Thank you, pageant gods. I'm so thankful." And then, you know, from there, we just went on into the final show. Uh, I have to say, I did have a great experience backstage. It did push me because I had to, well, we would perform and then you had to book it around the other side of the stage in order to get back on stage in time for parade. So, for those of you who are not familiar with pageantry, what happens is typically you'll have your group of contestants, say, you know, A through D, right? Alphabetically. A through D goes on and they perform. And then once everyone has performed, they all come back out on stage and it's called a parade. So we could have a swimsuit parade, we could have a parade of gowns, what have you. So after every area of competition for this pageant, there was a parade. So you would perform, then you would book it back around stage in your heels in order to get in your spot on time to make it back on for parade. Okay. So, I mean, I think it's always most stressful for the girl who's at the end of the line. And for me, I was second to last. So I still had to get a strong power walk going. But I mean, you do it for the show. And I bet you I haven't seen the the broadcast of the pageant yet. And usually that takes me a little bit of time. So when I do watch it, I'll tell you if I'm looking crazy because that's what I had to do backstage, run all the way back around and get into the spot. So I hope I didn't ruin the magic of the show for you, but that's what's happening. um, so yeah, the show itself was great. I had a good time. One of the ladies who I feel I connected with some during the shows was Miss Texas, who had the honor of being crowned the new international Ms. So she's the first African American woman, first woman of color to hold this prestigious title. And I am so proud of her. So, Miss Diamond, if you see this, congratulations, darling. You came, you slayed, you showed out, and I'm so proud to see the work that you're going to do. And I'm looking so forward to following your year, sincerely. So, congratulations, Diamond. I want to talk about just being there. So, you know, that's the whole of the experience. Um, and being on stage when they're calling special awards is kind of calling special awards and going through crowning. It's kind of a very, very tense, exciting uh, whirlwind of emotions that you're feeling. And no matter what the outcome is, you have to be up there with a smile, right? Um, so we went through special awards, and I didn't hear my name called, and I'm like, okay, okay, um, maybe if I come back, like I'm already thinking, maybe if I come back, I can put more effort into my video, or I can work on this or work on that, because no matter what I do, wherever I sign my name on, I want to be the best, and I want to be the best by some strength. Like I want to be best by the mile. So when the special awards are coming up, I'm like, okay, that okay, I agree, blah blah blah, like in my head. And then of course, that spirit of comparison already starts to kick in for me. And I'm an overthinker. So I'm up there smiling, of course, genuinely happy for the winner, but also thinking about myself, like, how can I better my performance next time in order to be the best blank, blessed blank, right? So there's nothing that I want to take away from the girl who put in the work, put in the time and effort, and created a performance and was able to deliver. You know, that person won because they were ready, because it was their time, because that was who the judges chose. So I don't want anybody to hear my thought process and think that I'm taking away from anyone who won a special award or anyone who won the pageant, but I'm not there yet. So just hang with me. So I'm up there, I'm thinking, I'm going, wow, okay, okay. Well, that's something to work on. That's something to do. And then I hear Maureen's voice in my mind. And if you don't know Maureen, she is the director and producer of Pageants Northwest, one of the head directors, who I love and adore. And I hear her voice in my head, and she says this at every pageant. She says, different night, different judges, different result. So, like I was talking with Pageant Dad in a previous episode, this is a subjective sport. Okay. So you change some people around, change the opportunity, but submit the same product, and you can very easily get varying results. Does that mean that you should not continue to practice, to seek training, to help sharpen your tools? That's not what that means. You should still be working toward perfecting your performance. And that definition of perfect has to come from within. You can't base what you do in the future off of what someone did in the past. So just keep that in mind. So there, boom. And then comes crowning, which is always exciting. I was not called in the top 10. So at that point, I texted my family and told them to start cheering for Miss Texas. I'm not even going to lie there. She and I spoke some while we were waiting in line, and I felt connected to her, and I listened to her story, the bits that she shared with me, and I felt that she would make a strong title holder. So that's who I texted my family and told them that, since I wasn't going to move forward, that's who I wanted to support. And, of course, my family cheers for everybody. They don't listen to me. My family cheers for everybody. So yeah. So going forward, having the opportunity to listen to all the women in the top 10 answer their top 10 questions was, again, insightful. Just listening to how they presented the question, kind of gave me a glimpse into maybe how they handled their interview, which I appreciated, because I was like, okay, we're similar in that regard, or similar in that regard. But these women in the top 10 had some powerful and moving stories. And if you have the opportunity to watch the pageant on YouTube, You really should, and you just take in what these women have overcome to just have been standing on that stage. So I'm in awe of everyone who I encountered because everyone had a beautiful story to tell. And I'm just thankful to have been able to share space and stage with them. So, um, not hearing your name called is difficult. It stings, and that's okay. It's okay to feel the stab of it because you put so much time, so much effort, um, and so much work into it. But if you have taken the time to really do the soul searching to figure out why you're doing the pageant, why you're doing the work, then it's never going to feel like a true loss. Okay. And I posted something on my social media afterwards, my little, bye, no crown for me post, and I put the word loss in there and I made sure to put it in um, air in quotations because you never really lose. If you are truly doing the work to, bring light to a bigger issue or to, make some positive community change, then yes, there will be a sting there. We're only human. You know, we have to give so much of ourselves in order to get the courage to step on that stage. That's normal. But to feel that you've lost that's not where you want to be. Okay? Like, you should have come out of the pageant week with a connection, with a lesson, so I don't want anyone to feel that, feeling that jolt, not hearing your name called is bad. It's not. um but also you shouldn't stay in that place. You should be able to, go through and do the work to kind of get yourself back on your feet and be able to have an objective look at the whole thing. Just because you didn't hear your name called that night doesn't make you any less magnificent than the woman who did win, um, than the woman who won an award, than the woman who was called in the top 10. All that means is that it wasn't your night, it wasn't your time. And if you're someone who believes in God, um, you know, energy, spirituality, whatever the case is, then you understand that, timing is everything. And I believe in divine timing. So, after walking off stage, I was definitely able to hold my head up high after hearing the stories presented by the top 10. I was able to hold my head up even higher because I felt that I was in the company of women who were held under such high regard. So I just truly, truly believe that if you take the time to really do the work, then you shouldn't feel defeated, I guess, is kind of what I'm going for. Your feelings are valid if you feel that, oh, wow, I worked so hard and I didn't get the crown. I mean, that's true for most people. But that night, there were only going to be 3 women who walked away with crowns out of the 30 to 40 of us that there were. So, you you have to be a little rational with your thinking. We were all there because at some point we thought that we could take home the title. So it's normal to feel, oh my gosh, ouch, like I can't believe that didn't happen for me. But when I get home, I'm going to do this. I'm going to shift gears. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to contact the coach. I'm going to ask that my coach and I watch the pageant together. Whatever the case is, you can kind of rebuild a new plan and move forward from there. With the way that pageantry is growing, there's no time limit. You can compete married, unmarried, with children, without children. There are Ms. and Mrs. pageants, senior pageants, plus size pageants, popping up all over the place. And all you have to do is choose to take up that space. And you deserve to. Every place you go, you deserve to take up space. So don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt your ability. You didn't do anything wrong. It just wasn't your time. So I want to leave you with saying that I hope that you keep thriving. I hope you keep moving forward. I don't want to take too much of your time today. I love you. Do subscribe to this channel here on YouTube. Do follow BGE Cloud on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify. If you're listening audio, please do, leave us a review. Tell us what you think about our channel. Tell us some topics you'd like us to cover. My personal page is at AmberBruce_, and then I have a public figure page on Facebook as well. All of these things, my BGE Cloud pages, my Amber Bruce pages, they will all be linked. So thank you for your time. Congratulations to the new International Ms, to the new Ms. and Mrs. USA. You guys slayed. I'm so very proud to follow your year. So like I mentioned, I guess I should say this. So Mrs. Texas won the title of International Ms. Mrs. New Jersey won the title of Mrs. USA, and Ms. Rocky Mountain won the title of Ms. USA. So do make sure to go to Instagram, follow them, follow their reign, make sure that you're supporting them. And I just definitely want to see International Ms. grow. It was a great time. I love a pageant that gives you family time. I love an organized pageant when it comes to paperwork and preparation. The handbook was ready to go. It had everything that I needed in it. And thank you, Miss Laura Clark, for putting together such a beautiful organization. I shared with the judges that I was very excited to, be under your umbrella because your leadership precedes you. And I'm just thankful to have the opportunity to have met you and to be involved with your system. And I thank you for awarding me the title of Ms. West Coast. So thank you so much. I truly did enjoy my time. And if anyone has questions, please feel free to reach out to me or any of the other contestants. I'm sure they would tell you that about their experience gladly. And until next time, I love you. Have a great day. Thanks again for joining me on the BGE Cloud. Thank you. Bye. All right, guys. Hi, I'm back. This is my face after work. I recorded the first half of the video before work, and now here we are after work. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I realized the second that I pulled away from my home today that I didn't show you my favorite purchases. I promised at the end of the video that I would show you them, and I'm going to do that because I'm a woman of my word. So throughout the park, there was opportunities to buy a myriad of things, and I thought that I would be leaving with a few mini backpacks, but instead I left with a couple of fans, which seems like, just kind of rinky-dink or whatever, but I'm so happy with them. So the first fan that I got is not this one. This is actually the second one I got, but I love this one so much. So this was a part of the Disney Pride collection. So it's like a rainbow. It has Minnie, Mickey, all throughout, the little Disney emblem, which I think is so cool. And of course, since I was competing in a pageant, a crown. So it's just very, very cute to me. I love it. To all of my girls in the Pacific Northwest at the pageants, you will see this incorporated in my coaching. And the other one I got was from the China display at Epcot. Look at that. Isn't that cute? Oh my gosh. So how you doing? So yes, I'm very happy with my fans. I'm just so excited. I can't wait to just incorporate these into my daily life. Another thing